All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace, love, salutations to those that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Nathaniel from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. And I'm praying and hope this lesson is edifying. In this lesson, we're going into blackness. Okay? Blackness and its origin, blackness and its meaning, and blackness, what this devil was attempting to do with the terms black and white. All right. Now, I have a video that I'm going to play. And in this video, she actually goes over the meanings of the word inadvertently, which basically means she didn't know that she's giving the meaning of the word black. Word. And this, Elder Malcolm goes into this all the time. And Jake just doesn't understand the ramifications of putting black before us. Firstly, there's no race of black. Okay? We are a people. We are a people. We are Israelites. We are a nationality of people. We are the 12 tribes of Israel, and that's our nationality. We are Hebrew Israelites. You know, we are one of the only nations in the world that don't have a national identity. Okay, there's no such thing as black. There's no such thing as African American. All right. These things are bywords, and they were created by the oppressor to create a level of classism and separate us from them, as we're going to go into. Okay. Also, to label themselves as those ones that were justly right in society or morally right in society. Okay. So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And it says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee." Okay. Excuse me. All right. This is why Jake gets the same label. You notice that they don't do this to Ham. When Ham comes over here in America, he's not labeled as black. They don't do this to Asians. They don't do this to, many different racial groups, so to speak, right? But they do it to the so-called black man. They make sure that he has that black stigma attached to him. Why? Because that stigma, it carries a certain energy with it. This is true. Words are things. Words are things, and words have power. All right. And when you profess a certain stigma on a racial group, you associate them with whatever that stigma classifies them as. Okay. And that's just it. So the Lord said you're going to be a proverb and a byword. Now let's look at this. Let's look at what it means by proverb. All right. It says, this is the word proverb. This mashawai.
Strong's H4912. Mashal.
Mashal. And it says proverb, parable saying aphorism. Let's see what that is. Aphorism. Let's see what that is. Oops, I don't want to do that. It says a filthy observation that contains a general truth, such as if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A byword. Let's get a deeper understanding of this word right here. And it says a person or thing cited as notorious, an outstanding example, embodiment of something. Okay. So they're calling you something, a byword, black. Okay. It's an embodiment of something. Well, we're going to go into what that actually is an embodiment of. All right. We're going to play a video first. All right. But we're going to hold that. So let's go and play this video. And then we're going to go back to this because there's a lot of meat here. We're going to go back to this. And then we're going to do some, we're going to go into some deeper history of this word, these words, black and white. Now, this right here was an incident of a so-called black man. Well, you know what? Let's just let it play.
Of both of the Twin Cities. Not surprising for Eagan, Minnesota. Eagan is a wealthy suburb of both of the Twin Cities. used to work out there, and just the wealth that area has is. So it's not surprising that a cop would assume that any brown person out there is using drugs because they don't come to the city. And
Now you see, you just labeled Jake. You just did the same thing. It's he's not from that area. He has to be on drugs. We have to assume that. Why? Because I'm passing through here.
they're unfamiliar with people of color, and they hold a lot of biases. And the amount of officers I see that lack the intelligence to see a medical emergency, like they should know the signs of a stroke. Stroke has very specific signs such as facial drooping, slurring words, loss of memory. And this is so sad. This is so upsetting because, I have family in Minnesota, and, for people to assume that you're using drugs just because you're brown, it's frightening. And to know that, the people spreading these lies about black and brown people are the most immoral, inhumane monsters walking the face of the planet is maddening. There weren't any drugs found in the system other than what was administered by the hospital.
Now I want to hold it there. Now you heard that she was talking. Let's bring that back a little bit. Let's bring it back.
People are the most immoral, inhumane monsters walking.
All right, now what she doesn't understand is she just inadvertently described what black means. And that's the point that I wanted to get to in this video. You just gonna play without me telling you to play. You're just gonna this shit is just ridiculous, man. They just keep playing my videos. It's crazy. But anyway, she just inadvertently described what black means. Doesn't mean anything good. All right. So now that we got that video out the way, I'm gonna X this out because it's gonna keep turning on in the background. Satan. All right, and we're gonna go back to this byword. It says, a person or thing cited as notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something. So they're labeling Jake as black, which means that they're making you the embodiment of everything wicked. All right, and we're gonna go into that, but let's go ahead and finish out some of these words. Let's go to similitude. What does that mean? Let's see what this word similitude means. All right. It says quality or state of being to something similar. So, you're a byword. Oh, you're a nigga. You black. Okay. Now, when you get into this word black, okay. All right, and I got it right here on Chat GPT. All right. When you get into this word black, the original meaning of, let's go to black first. The original meaning of black before race, because I asked it, because you got to ask Chat GPT a very specific question. And I meant to say, now give me the definition of black and white, not in reference to color, but the meaning of those words. Okay. Because that's what they like to do. They like to play around with black and white and say that these are reference to color, and they're not. When so-called black and white people are being called that, it's not in reference to color. It is in reference to these definitions, because it cannot be in reference to color, because you are not black and they are not white. They are red and you are different shades of brown. Just like there are different shades of red. Some of them are pink, some of them are cherry red, some of them are pale. But they all have, their blood shows forth through their skin, so they are all red. Okay, now you do have some Edomites that are tares that look like Jake, but that's a different story for a different day. All right, but we're really focusing on right now the meaning of the word white and the meaning of the word black. All right, now what I asked it is, okay, not in according to color, but the actual meaning of the word black. And this is what the word black means before race. So the original meaning of black before race: darkness, evil, sin, death, fear, filth, danger, wickedness, morally corrupt, low status. Okay? Black heart, evil, black magic, black sheep, black deed, evil act, pitch black, unknown, scary. Black equals negative, danger, inferior. Okay? So when you put black into something, you create a similitude. You are comparing these people to this word. So when you say black people, you are comparing the Hebrew Israelites who are normally categorized as black. Okay? You are categorizing the Hebrew Israelites as these things. Let me read them again. The original meaning of black before race: darkness, evil, sin, death, fear, filth, danger, wickedness, morally corrupt, low status. Examples in Old English: black heart equal evil, black magic, black sheep, black deed, evil act, pitch black, unknown, scary. Black equals the negative, black equal negative, dangerous, inferior. You see that? So, why do you think people look at black people and say they ain't no good? Or so-called black people. Why do you think that? If excuse me, if everybody in the world, it's not just here in America, it's all over the world, they look at what we call so-called black people or niggas in America, everybody in the world looks at you as something evil, something filthy, something destructive. And a lot of us, we're not even associated with that type of behavior. I know a lot of Jakes out there that are actually decent people. Okay? I know of Jakes that are evil people, but they're still labeled as black as a whole. So everywhere across the world, right? Everywhere across the world, you are labeled as black, evil, dark, sinful, wickedness. Okay? You are labeled as that. Okay? So this is why when you go places and people see you, they are automatically racist towards you. This is why when you go places and people see you, they're evil towards you. They're looking at you with the side eye. This is why. Just because, as I said, this is more than just, a color. No, this is a stigma. This is a evil, evil curse that's put upon our people because it is saying that we are the darkest, most evilest people on the planet. So when you call yourself black, this is what you're calling yourself. Okay? That's what you're calling yourself. And it's hard. And see, the enemy has done a good job because this is a cross-generational training. Our people have been trained to use that terminology for generations. This is why it's so difficult to break. For you to understand, the term black came to you from the colonizers. Now, we're going to scroll up a little bit because we're going into a bit of history. We're going to just read it. All right. And then we're going to go into the definition of whiteness because everything was done on purpose. Okay. So Chat GPT, if you don't already know the answer to the question that you're asking Chat GPT, and a lot of times they will give you the wrong answer. So you have to corner it. Okay. So when I first asked it, it gave me with some freaking political answer. I said, what did the terms black and white people come? I said, when did the terms black and white come into existence? And then it gave me it says the idea of black people and white people are fixed racial terms of categories did not exist for most of human history. I didn't ask it that. You see, and it starts going down the list and all these different things. And I'm like, bro, I didn't ask you for any of this. Okay. So then I said, okay, Let me be more specific. The term black came into existence in 1681 in the state of Virginia. So give me that, please. And then it gave me the breakdown of blacks into law. You see what I'm saying? Because it knew that ChatGPT knew that I knew the answer. All right. So then I asked it. I said, where we at? Where is it at? So then as we scroll down, hold up. Bear with me, please. So I said, now give me the full breakdown of the history of black and white and category black and white category that came into being in the state of Virginia. All right. So then it gave me the full breakdown. So this is what I'm going to break down right here. All right. Just so you know, just for y'all brothers know, when y'all using ChatGPT, you got to be very specific on, you got to pretty much know the answer. All right. In a lot of cases. All right. It says before 1681, no black and white races races in law. All right. So before 1681, no black and no white races in law. Right. And you Jakes would try just like y'all, just like the J, right? You would sit there and talk about the J, the term, and the name, this is a little side lesson, right? But y'all say that the J doesn't matter. You can call them anything you want, right? Well, if you use that logic, right, knowing this will not impact you at all. You'll still call yourself black. But if you look through this through a spiritual eye, you understand that these little subtle changes have a very profound impact on how things are viewed in the future. All right. So if you take away if you add the letter J and start calling this man Jeebus, you just created another deity. If you call these people black, you take away their identity and you make them into people that they are not. You see what I'm saying? All right. So this is early Virginia we're early Virginia, 1607 to 1640s. The first Africans arrived in 1619. They were treated similar to white indentured servants and could earn freedom. Some Africans even owned land and servants. Race was not a legal category. 1640 through 1660. Slavery begins to shift. A few courts begin to treat Africans differently. Example, 1640, John Punch, African sentenced to a lifetime slavery, while 2 white men got temporary punishment. Race-based punishment begins, but still no former categories yet. 1660 to 1680, laws start targeting Africans. But we weren't Africans either, okay? Just so you know. Virginia law says children follow the status of the mother. Slavery becomes heredity for Africans. So again, if it follow, this is why the mother gets custody of the children. Okay, this goes back to that, because if the mother is in control of the household, if the mother is controlling the children, if the mother is controlling everything, the enemy has the ability to go in and destroy the shit. So basically, if the mother's white, the child is white. If the mother's black, the child is black. That's the logic behind it. Okay. And it says, even if a slave is baptized Christian, they remained a slave. Free black women taxed like men, whites were not. Okay. Laws started to separate Africans from Europeans socially and economically. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit because that's, I want to get back to the actual act. It says 1680 to 1681, the birth of legal race. 1680, Virginia Act for Preventing Negro Insurrections limits movements of Negroes or other slaves, allows any white person to punish or kill and enslave black persons who resist. First law gives power to white people over black bodies. 1681, in 1681, Maryland, in the same legal region as Virginia, often grouped together historically forbid white women from marrying black slaves. Children of white women and black men became slaves. The use of the word white and Negro or black in law. This law often cited because one of the first explicit uses of white and black as a racial category. Even though this was Maryland, Virginia followed the same path in the same decade. Historians commonly say the legal invention of white and black began in Virginia, Maryland in 1681. After 1681, Virginia solidified racial categories. Virginia's first major race law, white, banned interracial marriage, said if a white person married a black, mulatto, or Indian, they are banished from the colony. Free black people cannot own white servants. White is now a legally protected category. Okay? So now we understand that white became a legally protected category and black was lesser. Now, when you start thinking about the meanings of these words, white and black, then you can start to understand why these words were picked. All right. It says, all servants imported who were not Christians in their native country shall be slaves. Their children shall be slaves. And it defined white Europeans free and privileged, black Africans slave and inferior. White people can get legal privilege, can't be enslaved for life, can be killed, can beat or kill blacks without felony charge. They still do it this very day. Can own property and vote. Okay, black people permanently enslaved, no legal rights, no, not allowed to own arms, punished more harshly. White equal a legal status of superiority, black legal status of permanent inferiority. This was not natural. It was engineered on purpose. See that? Okay. So now we're understanding that white and black were constructs to separate white and the Edomites and the Israelites. Okay. That's what this was all about. All right. And it says the colonial elite created the idea of race to justify African slavery, prevent black and white unity, give poor whites a reason to feel superior, protect the power of rich landowners. This was, again, done on purpose to separate, as I said, to separate the Edomites and put them in a level of superiority, and Jake in a level of inferiority. Okay, it says race equal political weapon, not biology. All right. So then it goes into a timeline status, and that's something that you can look into yourself. But we're going to keep on going. It says the bottom line, 1681, Virginia, Maryland is the first time white and black were used as official legal categories. This is when race was invented into law to divide, control, and justify slavery. Before 1681, no racial terms. After 1681, white versus black becomes the foundation of American society. You see that? Now we read what black means. Let's read what white means. Okay. In the European culture, white symbolizes purity, goodness, holiness, godliness, cleanliness, innocence, light, truth, morality, superior, high status, everything they are not. White things, positive, pure, safe, superior. Example in old text, white as snow, pure. Angels wear white. A white heart, good heart. White wedding, purity. Okay? So you see that what these devils did was they put themselves in the position of an angel of light. Okay? That's what he did. He put himself in a position of an angel of light. All right? So let's go back here. And let's go to 2 Corinthians. Oh, it's like here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. Oops, it's like here. 11, 14. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself transformed into an angel of light. Okay? So the spiritual, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan is the so-called white man. So this lines up perfectly with this scripture right here. It lines up perfectly. This is what he did to the world. He transformed himself from this, the original meaning of black, darkness, evil, sin, death, fear, filth, danger, wickedness, moral corruption, low status, to purity, goodness, holiness, godliness, cleanliness, innocence, light, truth, morality, superiority, high status. Okay? So that's what he came and he appeared to the world as when he created this term black and whites. Now, let me ask a simple question. If he appearing to the world as white, as pure, what the hell you think his counterpart is going to appear to the? Because you know the world, the Lord deals in duality. Even in this, the Lord is dealing in duality. So if there has to be a race that's labeled as pure, there has to be a race that's labeled as evil. Okay? So he's going to label Jacob, since he's the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, he's going to label Jacob as the evil one. And he's going to label himself as the good one, even though you know what? Hold up, a precept just came to mind. All right, precept just came to mind. All right. We're gonna come back and read this again. I just had a quick precept that came to mind. This is Matthew 7:16. And it says, ye shall know them by their fruits. Okay? You shall know them by their fruits. And this is speaking of everything. You'll know a man by his fruits. It says, do men gather grapes of thorns and figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but every corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Look at what Esau Edom has brought to the world. Look at the destruction and death and pain he's brought to the world. Now, wouldn't you say that Esau Edom, he more so embodies this definition, right? Evil, a darkness, evil, sin, death, fear, filth, danger, wickedness, moral corruption, low status. Wouldn't you say that this man that's in rulership right now, he more so embodies this definition, right? From the things he's been doing to the earth. So when you go back to that video, right? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up again. You know, I just took it off because they be tripping, man. They be playing it and stuff like that without my permission. All right, so where is it at? So I think it was just about right here.
These lies about black and brown people are the most immoral, inhumane monsters walking the face of the planet.
You see that? So this was a projection of what they are. They're projecting what they are onto us. They are all those things. Now, do you have some wicked jakes amongst our people? Yes. But Esau Edom as a whole, his whole nation is evil. His whole nation, they were created to be the wicked. Okay? All right, so now going back to this 2 Corinthians, you know, and 14, and it says, and marvel not, and marvel, for Satan himself transformeth into an angel of light. Okay? Now, when you go into this word saint, right? This word saint, it says early and early adjective, sciente, holy, divine, inspired, worthy of worship. Okay. Used before proper names, Saint Maria, Saint this, Saint that, right? Okay, we got that, right? But when you scroll down a little bit more, all right, right here, it says, it is attested by the late 13th century as moral or virtuous person, one who is pure or upright in heart and life. Let's read this again, because this right here totally breaks down and it contrasts him calling himself white. Okay? He is trying to appear as a damn saint, as an angel of light, by calling himself white, but at the same time going around the world terrorizing every goddamn body. Okay? And then calling you the terrorist. All right, so let's look at this definition again of white people. All right? Purity, goodness, holiness, godliness, cleanliness, innocence, light, truth, morality, superiority, high status. And go into this definition of the word saint. It is assessed by the late 13th century as moral or virtuous person who is pure or upright in heart and life. Look at the similarities: purity, cleanliness, innocence, light, morality. This dude is trying to appear as he's a goddamn saint by painting himself white, but at the same time painting Jake as darkness by calling him black. Okay? The terms black and white have nothing to do with color. They're all social constructs that was created to make you the victim, to make you the villain. Salakia, the villain, the evil one. Y'all Jakes out there. This is why this woman can say this shit. This is why she can say, you know, the monsters and all that stuff. Because when you really look at it through a correct lens, you see that they are the monsters. They are the ones that are doing all the evil. Okay? But that stigma, it plays with your subconscious. That white and black stigma, it plays with your subconscious, man. Okay? Your mind, they carry weight. Those words carry energy behind them. Words are things. Thoughts are things. Okay? A thought and a word can become tangible and become reality. Everything that we have in this world started off with a thought, and then it became a word, and then it became a thing. Okay? So you can't discount that the word black has a very profound impact on the Israelites as far as who they are and their behavior. Okay? Because you're calling them black people, dark people, evil people, wicked people, immoral people, low status people. You can apply any one of those or all of them when you're saying the word black. Okay? But like I said, in retrospect, this man is trying to show that he is a saint or a virtuous person. And he's anything but. This is the deception that this devil uses to deceive the people by calling himself white. Because the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear a white person is, oh, purity. They must be honest. They must be good. Right? That's what happens. Okay? It's on the subconscious and on the spiritual level. You just don't understand it because you don't want to take the time to see it. Okay? And you will continue to be black people as long as you acknowledge yourself as black people. Or, you know, when the Lord removed this curse from us, ultimately, that's when it's going to happen. You know, when you're no longer, when Deuteronomy 30:7 comes into action and he put these curses on our enemies, because then in the kingdom, Esau going to have his byword name. Okay? In the kingdom. And it's going to be way worse than what he's calling us. I can guarantee you that. All right, so let's continue on. This is Job 9:24. As Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? Because he has disguised himself in whiteness for so long that he's been difficult to identify. But the Lord has removed the covering cast over all people so you can identify this man. He has no cloak. He has no cloak for his sins. All right. So he has no cloak of his for his sins. Right. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces thereof. If not, who and where is he? He has hidden himself through whiteness. He has made himself to where he doesn't appear to be what he is, because you think that he's pure. So you have to know his fruits. You have to see what he does. And for the longest time, the nations were confused, because like, wait, he coming in saying like he white and he helping everybody, but then he come and take everything from us. What the hell? This dude is a goddamn devil. He's a deceiver. And that's exactly where he is. And then when you go to the book of Jeremiah, right? You go to the book of Jeremiah 49 and 10, and it says, "But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he should not be able to hide himself." You see, he was able to hide himself in whiteness. Okay? Esau was able to hide himself in whiteness, right? For the longest of times. And it says, his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All right. So Esau is spoiled. Esau has been found out. Esau has been put in a position to where he can no longer hide himself anymore. Okay. His evil and the wickedness that he's done, his history, his track record, all is caught on to him, because the Lord has allowed all this to happen for this purpose, to make Esau bare, to bring down judgment upon him. Okay. And it just really annoys me that Jake continues to call himself that in the times that we're living in. But hey, we also know that somebody got to be destroyed. So 2/3 got to be destroyed. So let's go back. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And who are the judges? The judges, the original judges, were the ones that he are calling black. The Israelites. These are the original judges. These are the ones that he is calling black. Blackety black. So he covered their faces. He made the world believe that these were the evil people, and not himself. You see? The Esau knows, well, at least the elite, they know who they are. They know they're Esau. And they know that their time is short. But the lower echelon of Edomites don't know that they're Edomites. At least some of them do, but for the whole, they don't. They think that they're white people. Okay? That's what they think of themselves. I'm a white person. That's what it says on my ID. No, bro. Use an Edomite. Okay? Use an Edomite. All right? Now I'm going to grab one more preset. I'm going to close out on that. All right, so this is the 1611 KJV. And we go to First Maccabees 3:48. Three and 48. And it says, "And they laid open the book of the law, where the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images." Okay? So they laid open the book of the law where the heathen were in the paint. They laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay? So the heathen went and grabbed our book and painted their likeness over it, right? Appearing to you as that angel of light, or appearing to you as white. Huh. No, I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but hey, it is what it is. Okay? So they come and they appear to you as an angel of light, say that they're the people, that they're the ones with the moral high ground, they're the holy ones, they're the ones that are virtuous, and they're anything but that. Okay? And then they hide the true judges, which are the Israelites, okay? And say that we're the black ones, we're the dark ones, we're the evil ones, okay? And then they do psyops, like putting drugs in the hood, put guns in the hood, creating the single mother culture, okay? and then taking the prison industrial complex, and then taking these things because they control the narrative and they control society, and they're plastering Jake's face over everything and saying he is the cause of all of this stuff when they are. They're the ones who could create the policies. They build the prisons. They run the drugs. CIA has been caught running the drugs. They've been running the guns, NAFTA and GATT, right? Agreement. They've been doing all this stuff. You see? They're the ones that have been doing all this shit. Okay? And Jake, being being in a situation where he can't make money, to where he can't feed his family, still having a desire to do so, he picks them guns up. He sells those drugs. Hey, the wicked music that's out here, the nigga music, right? Y'all the ones who create that and put it in Jake's name, because y'all don't even allow Jake to rap about anything uplifting and so it can become public. It has to be negative imagery. F this, F that, bang this chick, bang that chick, get money. This is the whole culture that you've created within Jake. Y'all did that. And then you take that, what you created, what you made out of these people, and say, they're the evil ones. They're the wicked ones. We're the virtuous ones. You see? So Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to destroy you devils. You've already been revealed. We know your history now. And we see it for what it is. And for you Jakes that continue to call black, be black, call yourself black, be black. Be the blackest that you can possibly be. Okay? Because honestly, I'm tired of the shit, man. And I know you may be saying, well, we don't care what you think, but hey, the men of the Lord tired of it too. Tired of hearing it. We're not black people. We have a nationality. We are a people. Okay? And black is not a nationality. Black is not a people. Black is a social construct that was created to hide who the true wicked is. Okay? The wicked ones are. All right? So with that, I'm going to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostle, and millstones, to Nick Samaki, I say shalom.